welcome to the TCAD 10-Minute Take. It is I, your host, Sheree Stewart, and with me, as always, is my intrepid co-host, Don the Legend Chambers. This is the 10-Minute Take, which is the 10-minute version, give or take, of our longer-form TCAD podcast, where we talk about all kinds of entertainment shenanigans, and movies, and TV, and gossip, and what's going on in the news. And in the 10-Minute Take, we only talk about one movie in a hopefully spoiler-free review.
Yes.
And today's movie is Hobbs and Shaw.
Boom! Hobbs and Shaw.
But before we get started, make sure that you click on that subscribe button and you click that bell so you get all the 10-minute takes as soon as they drop.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
As always, we'll let Don go first. Age before beauty.
Why thank you. That is true.
And I will set the timer and go.
All right. Hobbs and Shaw, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Jason Statham, Idris Elba, directed by David. Is it Leitch? Leitch? How's he pronounce it? I'm saying Leitch, Leitch. He directed Deadpool 2. He was also director on the first John Wick. He's a stunt guy. So, needless to say, action sequences. And there are plenty of them here in Hobbs and Shaw. Now, I have to preface this in sort of breaking it down in two ways. Okay, number one, I'm just going to be honest. The movie itself is pretty terrible. Very dumb. Very dumb. Makes no sense. And there's certain edits I'm like, I think there was stuff left out, how it all of a sudden jumps to different spots. So just know that. Now, is it still a fun time? Absolutely. It's your classic popcorn movie. You turn this off and you just watch just for eye candy, spectacle, and some laughs. Because the banter, I thought, between The Rock and Jason Statham is great. I thought Idris Elba is great as a bad guy. Actually, I kind of liked him as a bad guy in these sort of dumb movies because they just let him go over the top with it and just kind of make it big, which I dig. So there's that. So it's a big, loud, explosion-y, funny, over-the-top kind of movie, which is what Fast and the Furious is now. But if you're looking for a movie to really make sense or have some purpose to it, this ain't it. Trust me. So as long as you know that and you're not disappointed in that, you'll be fine. There's a couple, I guess, called cameos that I won't reveal that made me laugh, that I thought were kind of cute. Which again, it's the whole. It seems to be now the purpose in this Fast and Furious, which is just like, you know what? We're not going to take ourselves seriously. We're going to have fun, have a good time, and go over the top, which is great. I do kind of wish maybe the movies could have made a little bit more sense, but okay, I get it. I think the only my only other issue is, and this is more so, I gotta be honest, when they did the trailer, they sort of gave you the whole movie. I mean, like the whole movie. I mean, they pretty much gave you most of the action sequences too. Like, I'm like, oh wow, they really kind of went point for point as to where it's going to go and what's going to happen. And so I was a little disappointed. I would have thought in editing they would have kind of just hidden maybe some of the bigger ones. But no, it's all kind of right there in the trailer. But aside from that, listen, it's at this point, you know it's not winning any Academy Awards. True, I would have liked it maybe to have made a bit more sense, but once I realized, like, oh, this is just not going to be a good movie in terms of story at all. So I was like, cool. I just sat back with my popcorn and soda and just watched and laughed at the jokes and just said, that's kind of cool. So overall, I would say if you're a Fast and the Furious kind of guy and if you enjoy the over-the-top spectacle, absolutely. See it opening weekend, Friday night, Saturday night. Pay the full price ticket. Get your popcorn and drink. Go with a friend or your significant other. You'll have a fun time. You'll have a laugh. But again, don't go expecting a good story or you'll be severely disappointed. Just letting you know. If I had to give it a like a 1 out of 10 sort of rating as well, probably a 7. Yeah, about
a 7.
Yeah,
that's real high, man.
Well, because again, I'm giving it the 7 because again, if I'm walking in, head shut off, just for the spectacle, it was fine. I mean, it wasn't as spectacle-y as some of the other ones, but it had that in there. But part of me, which is also thinking, I kind of would have liked maybe a little bit more story, which isn't there. So I'll give it the 7 just surely for it's purely a popcorn movie, purely something you don't really think it at all. That's it.
I'm waiting for the Fast and the Furious movie when they go to the moon and they're like racing around drifting on moon dune buggies. Like, I am waiting for that, and I know it's in the pipeline. I know it is, and if it's not,
I'd be disappointed.
Require 10% for that idea. There you go. So, listen. This movie was super dumb. I thought it was just me. I was so relieved to hear you say that because I was like, is it just me or is this movie like super, super, super dumb? Mm-hmm. It is super dumb. The story makes zero amounts of sense. Like, and it contradicts itself in weird places, and people and characters are acting out of character for the sake of comedy. With the enormous magnitude of world-ending stakes, everybody's just real casual about that shit. Mm-hmm. You're just like, why are you so casual about this? It's a big old swinging wiener movie. There's a whole lot of that.
Yes.
Normally, okay, my feelings for The Rock oscillate. Like, sometimes he's just sort of for me, and then sometimes I'm really into The Rock. He for this movie, I would say he's solid. Like, he's super solid. Like, the jokes land. Mm-hmm. I always like him better when he has interactions with kids. Like, I feel like that just, I don't know, that does something for him that makes him more of a human being and less of like a giant muscle robot. Mm-hmm.
That's true.
So he's definitely, on the human side of the scale in this movie more than the muscle robot.
Oh yeah.
And then like with the family, like having like an actual like family situation is definitely, that added some sentiment, even though it made zero sense and all of them should have died. like they added some things in for convenience that made no sense. Like, no sense. Like, what evil criminal organization is gonna have weapons with that kind of a flaw? Like, that kind of ridiculously, meticulously planned out flaw just so you can have this awesome sequence down at the end. It's just shenanigans, man. I'm calling shenanigans on that.
Shenanigans have been called.
Shenanigans have been called. But it was fun. I mean, there was a couple times in the middle where I had to like get up and move around. It's longer than it needed to be. It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes. They probably could have got away with 90 minutes of that shenanigans. It's not like they had a story to fill out. They just had these big action sequences they wanted to do. I honestly would not say pay full price for this. I was about to say bullshit.
You can say that.
I would say it's a super good matinee movie. Like, if this was a matinee and you were hanging out with some friends on a Saturday and y'all didn't have shit to do and y'all just wanted to go to the movies and eat some popcorn and be cool because it's hot outside, yes, this is your movie. If you guys were at the mall with your kids and they're running around acting crazy, you could probably take kids to this because it's cartoony in the violence. There's not a whole lot of blood. What is this, PG-13? I don't think it's R. There's not a whole lot of R. There's not a lot of swearing. There's not a lot of, like, I saw kids in there and I was like, what are you guys here for? Shouldn't you be in the Lion King? But then I watched the movie and there's like no titties. There's no a whole lot of swearing, probably minimal swearing, and there's no blood. Like, the violence is super cartoony, and it's like it was almost like not even almost. It was the human equivalent of a Transformers movie. Like there was a whole lot of bang, smash, vroom, vroom, ramp, car, smush things happening that sometimes you were like, as an adult, just kind of like, all right, let's just see where this is going to go for the next 10 minutes. Maybe I'll shut my eyes for a second. And then, like, it was like, I never felt more like an adult.
Oh.
Than going to go see this. So, yeah, matinee for sure. Like, don't spend, even if you're a Fast and the Furious fan, which I know a lot of people are, they even don't like the sillier tones of where the movies have gone. Like the original Fast and the first one was a super kind of grounded movie. I mean, it was Point Break in cars, but it was more of a grounded movie, and they've just gone exponentially crazier. And we got that from the trailer, that this movie was going to be bananas.
Yeah.
And it was bananas, capital bananas. So if you're cool with that, this would be a really fun, like, group night Redbox movie, for sure. But I would say matinee it up.
Yeah.
Matinee it up.
Yeah. Now the one thing I just got to point out, and maybe other people noticed, and maybe you noticed it as well, is I just found striking, in order to do this buddy cop, in a sense, movie that it is how the character Hobbs went from an insanely intense lawman from the first time we saw him to this soft family guy, and how Jason Statham's character, who killed Han, and was and when he went to break out his brother, killed a lot of people. I mean, he's a killer, and he became, again, this family-centric sort of guy that was
right. Like, he wasn't really killing folks as much. Like, he was like wounding. Like, it became it definitely cartoonized.
And then they sort of retconned his past to where now it was all a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
And I'm
I mean, not to spoilers. But apparently none of that happened.
Well, it's weird. I mean, yeah, it's not really spoiler because it's hardly really part of the movie. But yeah, I was like, But it's I just found it interesting as to how the studio execs decided, okay, in order to really sell this, we've got to soften these guys up. Now, look.
Well, they wanted to sell it to younger people,
right?
And to get them in the theater, it can't be rated R.
Exactly.
It can't be super grounded. It can't be super violent. There can't be lots of blood.
Right. I'm not, mad about that, because I'm not deeply attached to either character. Don't get me wrong. I'm like, okay, but I just find it interesting because it almost is. It sort of speaks to the change of the Fast and Furious franchise, how it just went from, like you say, a bit more grounded to. From the Fate of the Furious, which was a good movie, but very over the top. I mean, you know how it is.
Yeah, and it was not about the cars. Like, it's definitely moved away from being about that, for sure. There was, it seemed like it could have been, like, that was, it could have been in there with the brothers' shop and, like, the custom cars
but it
stuff.
really wasn't.
But it really wasn't. Like, that was not the focus at all.
Yeah.
It was like the cross between a Fast and the Furious and a Mission Impossible and, like, Shenanigans.
And maybe a tamed down Lethal Weapon-ish buddy cop.
A super toned down Lethal Weapon.
For sure.
Some Beverly Hills Cop shenanigans. Yeah. Like, it was definitely it felt like a throwback with every car stunt, fight stunt thrown in there.
For good measure.
For good measure. Like, and that bothered me a bit, where the sister, I mean, she's like, what, 5'7", 5'8", maybe 110 pounds, and you're really going to be able to hold your own with The Rock? The Rock is a mountain.
Listen.
A mountain.
I won't even get into that because, again, you got to shut your mind off for this movie.
It doesn't matter how hard you can hit if you're hitting a mountain.
True. True. That's
You're
true.
gonna break your own hand.
That's true. That's true. But hey,
but okay.
But we want to hear from you guys. That's right. We want to hear from our tens of listeners. You let us know what you thought of Hobbs and Shaw, Fast and Furious. If you agree with our takes, if you're totally different, it's all good. We want to hear from you. So please leave a comment, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell down there, and also let us know what else you want us to see, because we will be more than happy to check those out with those requests. Also, don't forget to see more of our 10-minute takes. Not only subscribe to this channel, but you can find that as well as our podcast, as well as our other projects of Good Morning Antioch and The Reading. They're all at tcadnetwork.com. That's right. We made a website where everything is there. All of our links to our Facebook page, our Twitter, our email. We even have a phone number where you can leave a message. It is all right there. tcadnetwork.com. Can't make it any easier for you unless we came into your house and typed it on your computer for you. And maybe that's something we'll offer later on. Who knows? But until next time, with another movie, it is I, Don the Legend Chambers. I've got my partner in crime, Ms. Sheree Stewart. So until next time, see ya.
See ya.